Welcome to Playback. This is TRT World's weekly showcase of our biggest and best stories, where we go behind the story with our teams around the world. I'm Maddock, coming up on the program.
Another refugee boat has just pulled up here on the shore. I can hear a baby, I can hear children screaming. There's a child and she's...
Greece says no more to migrants. Our correspondents are on the shores as boats arrive and witness the Greek police's heavy-handedness to hold their borders. The sweetest sound in the worst of circumstances. You'll meet a Syrian father who's taught his daughter to drown out the sound of shelling with laughter. Our top story this week is from Syria, where civilians are caught in the middle of the worst fighting over the past 10 weeks than at any time in the country's 9-year conflict. In recent months, the regime, with support from Russian air power, has stepped up its attacks on the country's last major opposition bastion and home to more than 3 million Syrians. Yasin Ekin sent this report in the aftermath of one of those raids. And we have correspondents in Italy and South Korea keeping us updated. Let's go to Milan first. How does the regime differentiate between civilians and opposition forces there? Do you think it will hold, or is there still an imminent threat of conflict? But these protests from the outside, from the pictures that we've been seeing, looked different. It looked like this very much of a party protest atmosphere. Is that what it felt like for you? After Netanyahu announced the annexation plans, there was a pretty quick response from Gaza that almost ended an election rally that he was hosting. What happened? Do you think it's likely that we'll see one signed in the coming weeks? And is there any chance of it even holding? Let's switch up this edition of Playback now. People around the world are increasingly looking for fun, interesting and Instagram-worthy experiences thanks to the so-called social media influencers. Our sports correspondent Lance Santos sat down with Fury, who can't wait to face the infamous Wilder punch and has some fighting words of his own. And despite government efforts, people just aren't having enough babies, often put down to Japan's long work hours and lack of support for parents. But our reporter Mayu Yoshida went to one city that's created the right conditions for a baby boom. A trip to a Turkish barber is a bit like no other. It's a cultural adventure with blades twirling, a bit of whipping and fire. And with a global boom around barbering and male grooming, Turkish barbers have successfully cut into the UK market. Game on. That rounds up your week of news here on Playback. Thank you for watching. Please stick with us here on TRT World for the latest stories, or stay up to date by following us on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter at TRT World. See you next time.